A penthouse that Denzel Washington called home in one of his movies just hit the market, and they are asking $20 million. Adam Levine just listed his Montecito mansion for sale, the same house that used to be owned by Rob Lowe. Today we're talking about some of the top celebrity real estate headlines from the last couple weeks. Let's get into it. For our first story, we are starting in Brooklyn Heights to talk about a penthouse that just hit the market that Denzel Washington kind of called home. There were some shots of Denzel up on the balcony of this unit. Not a bad setting for some movie scenes with his view of the Manhattan bridges and the New York Harbor. Apparently this is where some of those scenes were from the movie. It was a Spike Lee movie called Highest to Lowest. It's a big unit. It's got about 5,000 square feet, 550 square feet of patio space, and it's the only unit in the entire building that has 5 bedrooms. I really like this beveled edge detail on the island. Never seen that before. It's a nice touch. Wow, look at the master bedroom. I feel like this is basically like a mansion in the sky. Like I said, there's a bunch more bedrooms. And since it's a full floor unit, every one of those bedrooms has got its own unique view. Massive price, but I could live here. Our second story of the day is actually my personal favorite story of the day. Okay, so Bob Dylan's first home in New York City just hit the market for sale, but get this. Bob lived here back in the 1960s, and he paid just $60 per month for this place. Bob wrote some of his earliest songs while living in this building, and he was photographed right around the corner for the cover of his breakout album called Freewheeling Bob Dylan. Not gonna lie, I'm a huge Bob Dylan fan, so I'm kind of geeking out on this one. It's crazy to think, though, that he paid $60 per month in the 60s, and now the place is for sale for $8.25 million. I will say for that $60 price, he wasn't renting the entire building. This is actually a 7-unit building. There's 5 residential units and 2 retail units, but they are talking his name up a bit in the listing, which makes me wonder if there's a little bit of a premium attached to the price here just because of the history. I don't know. One thing about this building that is going to be very attractive to investors or landlord buyers is that this is a free market rent building, meaning there's no rent control or rent stabilization or anything like that, which means that rents nowadays are probably a heck of a lot more than $60 per month here. Now back over to LA, Richard Simmons' longtime home was just listed for sale. They are asking $7 million for this one. It's kind of sad. This is actually the house where he passed away about a year or so ago. I don't see that it's been listed since then, so I'm assuming it's just been held up in the trust or the estate or whatever. From the cover shot, it kind of looks like it's going to be a mega mansion, but it's actually not huge. It's only a 4,000 square foot house. It's very private though. It's set way back from the street. You got a couple of gates here, and even when you get into the motor court, there's another wall that kind of blocks you from the front door. It's kind of interesting what's going on with the flooring when you walk through the front door. This looks like it's wood that's painted almost like a basketball court. Obviously, they've taken a lot of Richard Simmons' personal belongings out of the house, but I wouldn't be surprised if a lot of this stuff was his actual furniture that he had when he lived here. Another thing I was reading too is that when he lived here for the last 10 or so years of his life, he was very quiet and like very out of the spotlight. A lot of people were speculating about like what was going on. Why wasn't he coming out of his house very often? Was something wrong with him? And the article I was reading basically said he put out a statement that nothing was wrong with him. He just wanted some peace and quiet towards the end of his life, which I understand. He was a very public figure for pretty much his entire career. This is another like Richard Simmons thing too. Okay, so here's the master closet, and the staircase takes you up to a hidden gym. Cool property, amazing views, great bones. I hope they get their asking price. For our last listing of the day, we have our most expensive listing of the day, okay? Adam Levine just listed his home for sale in Montecito, and they're asking $65 million. Adam and his wife paid just $52 million for the house 3 years ago, and it was originally designed for Rob Lowe back in 2009. This is a compound of a property too, 3.4 acres, 13,000 square feet. Probably the most picturesque cover photo that we've seen all day. Look at your grounds. I love it when you have acreage like this and it's flat acreage because the lot just feels like it goes on forever. This is what it looks like when you're walking up to the front door, and this is what it looks like once you get inside. On your back patio, you're looking out at your massive lawn, and in the very distance, you got a bit of a view. I'm starting to understand why people like Montecito. Ooh, I like this room. This looks like a speakeasy. Dining room's cozy. Lots of fireplaces in this house. Check this out. So they use like a brown shade of Pebble Tech on the shelf here in the pool, so it almost looks like you're stepping into sand before you get into the water. That's pretty cool. I get the $65 million asking price. That's just kind of the going rate for a big house like this in Montecito nowadays. Curious to see how long it takes to sell in this market, but Best of luck to him. That's a wrap for this week's episode, you guys. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, don't forget to hit the subscribe button down below before you go, because I'm over here on the Estate Media channel every Monday. So if you want to see these videos again, hit subscribe before you go, and I'll see you then.